So if there's a couple who would like to experiment a bit with kink and most of that with power exchange, with dominance and submission, do you have something like a good advice? So if there's a couple who would like to experiment a bit with kink and most of that with power exchange, with dominance and submission, do you have something like a good advice or a first thing that they like? How do they start? Or could you just give some?
We always tell them what I always tell people who are just brand new, like and this is for people who know that what they want to explore is power exchange, is you start with one thing. And ideally the thing that's kind of exciting or enticing. Like you don't start with drudgery because who's going to keep up with that? So let's say it is sexy bedroom stuff of the dominant loves the idea of telling their partner what they need to do in the bedroom, whether that's go in there and take off all your clothes or go in there and lay over the bed or bend over or whatever. But the thing that's really exciting and kind of turns you on, and you play with that one thing, and you play with it in a variety of ways. So maybe it's, I'm the dominant and I'm going to tell you when I expect you to be naked and in the bedroom waiting on me, right? And you can play with that in a lot of different ways. So you can wait till you get home, walk through the door. You can call him on the phone. You can send him a text. You can just say, the expectation is at 4:00, you're going to be like this. And I'll walk in when I walk in, and will you be there? And however you play with it, you play with the fun stuff and you experiment with how you ask for control or take control and how you give up control, depending on which side you're at. And then at a certain point outside of that play, however long it goes on for, a day, a week, whatever, you talk about it. What did you like? What didn't you like? It requires saying sometimes hard things, like having to say to your partner, you asked me to do the thing and I really didn't like that, and here's why. But it's information gathering. So you've tested out an idea. Now you're talking about it. And then you say, okay, you make a decision at that point. Let's play with it in a new way now that we have this information, or put that on the back burner. Let's try a new thing. But I always say start slow, start with a power exchange activity, whatever is in your heads mutually, the partnerships of what that might look like. And you play, and you literally, it's play. BDSM is play for adults. Sex is play for adults.
It is. I agree with you.
We have to get into that frame of mind of it's not that serious. We are not like curing diseases here. We are two adults trying to have fun.
And you cannot mess up.
You can't. No. If you're listening to each other and you're making sure you have consent and you're staying within each other's limits to the best of your ability, because landmines exist, you're going to come across something that you didn't know was a limit.
Yeah, exactly.
But, with all of that in mind, just play. But start with a lot of people I see, they're like, I want to explore kink. And next thing you know, they have 5 toys, 3 sets of handcuffs, and a lot of whipped cream in the bedroom. And I'll never understand that because that's just messy. And they've got all this stuff and they don't know where to start. And it's like,
so
trying too hard. So yeah. And I, for all that I kind of will say that a lot of people who are trying to navigate a power exchange tend to come in from a fantasy perspective. They've got this porn view of BDSM and power exchange in their head, and they have to get away from that. When you are exploring to see if this is even something you like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as long as you take precautions and you use your, like, whatever your sense of reason is. Like, would you get in a car and not put your seatbelt on? I mean, hope not, right? So, okay, are you gonna hit your partner with something and you've never done anything like this before? So that, like, let's use some level of reason of how do I keep us safe while we do this? Like, that's it. That's the bare minimum. Just worry about safety, because I promise you can find it online, information about how to stay safe about almost anything you're willing to try as a newer person exploring kink. But yeah, start with that fun fantasy stuff and then see if it resonates. And at that point, then you can start digging into, wait, are there other ways we can do this? And how do we do that? And what's the best way to do that? But yeah, play first would be my thing. Play slowly, play carefully, but just play.
Epic. Thank you so much.